I set up everything and I forgot to start streaming. So we're here we go again. I fixed the audio issue. I think it's let's see if it still works now that I've started the stream. We're gonna watch Star Citizen live, and then we're gonna head to Drake. Here we go.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Star Citizen Live Game Dev Building NPC Behaviors. I'm your host, Jared Huckabee. And if you've never seen Star Citizen Live before, it's where we take about an hour out of the end of our week, hang out with some of our esteemed Cloud Imperium Games developers, either answer some questions, do a little back and forth. Sometimes we take a look at what they're working on. Today, we are doing something that we've never done in the 7 years I've been doing this for CIG. We are going to look at the actual process of creating NPC behaviors. And to do that, we are going to first introduce ourselves to some of our AI team folks. Fran, because you've been on the show before, we'll start with you. Who are you and what do you do for Star Citizen?
Sounds good. So, hi everybody. My name is Francesco Roccucci, and I'm the AI director in Cloud Imperium Games. So, yeah, well, I try to supervise all the AI development and help everybody with the proper planning, the proper development of architecture, and yeah, support everybody in the behavior, creation as well.
Let me see that shirt you're wearing.
What? Sorry.
Let me see that shirt you're wearing.
So, this is a very nice version of the Space Invader game. See, with Vincenzo, this is a Targ. How do you pronounce it, Jared? Targ in English? Targrid?
Tardigrade? Tardigrade?
Exactly. I can never pronounce it correctly in English. In Italian would be tardigrado.
Alright, we'll go clockwise around.
Tardigrado.
Dan, who are you and what do you do for Star Citizen?
Hey, I'm Dan Baker. I've been working at CIG for about 4 years now. I'm one of the game designers here. Currently working on the NPC behaviors, as this whole stream is about, and working on usables. And I spend most of my time writing design documents and playing around with data.
Exciting. Jacob, the man with the blurred background. What are you trying to hide?
Oh, you don't want to know. You don't want to know.
Who are you and what do you do for Star Citizen?
I'm Jacob. I'm a junior AI programmer, and I joined here about 3 months ago. So it's my first full-time job. It's my first job in the games development sort of sector. And I work on behavior as well, like AI behavior, but also like sort of the the backbone of it, like the implementation and the code and stuff like that. So excited to be here.
What you right now see already live with the pilot security behavior is what Jacob has worked on already.
Yeah, exactly. So if you have any complaints, you should complain.
No finger pointing.
And last but certainly not least, Hayden, who are you and what do you do for Star Citizen?
Hello, I'm Hayden McElroy. I'm a junior technical designer, and I basically do what Dan does, just with a little less documentation.
Just a little
Yeah,
less.
and the higher up you go, the more documentation you have to do.
You're right.
Lucky you.
And let's go ahead and mention Idris. Idris was going to join us today, but he's having some trouble joining on Zoom. So Idris, you're with us in spirit. All right, so Fran, this is
Cool.
this is your program. We're all here to peanut gallery and just tell you where you're messing up and what you're doing wrong while you work.
No pressure, no pressure.
Why don't you start us off? What is an NPC behavior and what are we doing?
So sure. Basically, I think like all of us here work both on some of us again as a programmer work on some of the systems. We define, we design, and we build, implement. Some others, as the designers are mostly working with these systems we build, and they help us building. So the behaviors are mostly the brain of the NPCs, right? So the way we split the things is we try to build, first of all, as much as possible. It needs to be data driven to scale up, right? In this game, it's so huge. We need to just allow the designers and content creator to create content that we use automatically, right? To patch the game and expand the game. And one of the things we want to shoot today is something that me and Dan have been working on, since a while, and I think we also show some sneak peek during the mostly during the monthly reports. But is the engineer behavior as an example of how we build a behavior from basically scratch, right? So how we define mostly what we want an activity to do, because we talk about behaviors in terms of activities usually. An activity is kind of a generic kind of representation of a job, right? It could be the engineering job, it could be the pilot security that Jacob has worked on, or the tourist that Aiden has been working on. Something that the NPC can do, and that eventually, I'm sure like a lot of people that are watching here, they saw the Tony's video. I know that was out this week, and all these things with the population manager. Oh, Idris join us. Um, but basically all this really cool population manager, and the virtual NPC and something like this, we can basically spawn them in the right context, and their context is the activity of what they are trying to do and the environment which they are in. So yeah, basically that is what a behavior is, and to achieve that, let's say an engineer, you have a lot of pieces that we have to take care of. That is like building the environment or making sure that the NPCs understand the environment as well, and then there is the actual decision logic, decision flow, and what that means is that we try to abstract our like thought process flow. Is like, oh, I want to find something that is broken, I want to repair something that is broken, and then how that basically construct the actual action that they need to perform. It tries to be as generic as possible, as modular as possible, and this is what we will see today.
All right. Well, it sounds like something relatively easy, straightforward, and
Yeah.
should have no trouble doing it within an hour.
Yeah, so I try my best to be fast and not, because I, as a lot of people know, I talk a lot, so you guys need to try to interrupt me sometimes if I just speak too much.
Yeah, I
Cool.
think we're
So,
going to try and squeeze like months and months worth of work into an hour. So
yes. So we are trying to focus on specific stuff. We'll see how much time we have. Of course, we can go more in detail. Maybe Jared, you can book us for another session after this. We can
Hey.
go more in detail later.
Hey, I got to do this every Friday, so good. All right, so we've got your screen share up on the
Cool.
stream now. Where do we start?
So we start with, this is our engine, right? So this is, I think, been seen in the past, but basically this is an empty level, just like completely empty. This is what we use for testing, for development, and for actually trying and testing the proper environment. So what we'll do today, of course, is building a test environment. First of all, we need a platform where to be, because right now, if we jump in game, we're just floating in space, and there is just pretty much nothing, we can do. So we will use what we call designer's tool. That is like a kind of solid creation tool. We can create like a platform, and the way we move around, we can build like different type of surfaces. Now we have an environment where we can place NPC. Now we are still in 0G, so if I still jump in game, I will still float around. So first thing I want to do is add some gravity. I will go in the entity panel. I will search for what we call the gravity box. We drag it in. As you see here, there are like this little square is where now gravity is. So if I go next to here, and I will jump in the game, I'm here. Cool. So I'm perfectly in the level. I can walk around. Let's take an NPC. As the company, is very complex in the process that we have to create from the character to the behavior. So let's say usually what we start is, let's say we want to do an engineer. In the parallel process, we have the character team that creates the character like as the human body, and then all the loadouts that the engineer comes with. So in this case, we can just grab like one of the engineering in new Babbage, I don't know, or something like this. There are female and male, of course. We can start with picking a female, but I think I will show you basically that we are in the process of testing. Always like basically we start with some animation, this male or female, and then we transport that animations to the other type of skeleton rig. So some might be depending on the time in which we are working on, they might be more or less polished, because of course we want to polish one first and then do the retargeting. So first of all, now we have this character, and that's what I wanted to show you. Is basically in each character, or each entity in general, it depends on the entity type, we can configure some instance properties, and some are behavior related, right? So the one that we can show you here is that this is like is now assigned a behavior that is called PU engineer, or better, an activity that is called PU engineering. This is the old activity that we have sometimes in PU, where you see some of the engineer going around, and use like some work zone and weld stuff and something like this. But now we're working on a more complex one, and we will definitely start with none, with a new one. We would just create one from scratch. So to create one from scratch, we will go into subsumption. This is our tool for creating behavior, missions, uh, populate environment, what we call the object containers, where we can create platforms. We can define which type of actions the designers have exposed from the coders, which type of variable they can use, and so on and so on. But let's start with one. I take my folder, I make a new behavior. I call it engineer, I show. This is gonna be the name that we can reference to the inside the engine, and we can assign it to here. And in general, like everything we do here gets live hot reloaded. So if right now, for example, we take a sub activity, we create a generic one that is like, if nothing happens, if he has nothing to do, it just goes into idle. We put priorities. This is like the number in which we evaluate the sub activities. So what are sub activities? Of course, sub activities as a sort of the way we split the activity into the different things they can do. So let's say we have an engineer, maybe you have like, again, an idle sub activity that represents your fallbacks. Like, okay, there's nothing to do, you're just gonna be there. This pretty much should never happen. So we'll put it like in a very high or very low priority, that is a very high number. And what we usually tend to do as a first step, we just put like, these are all the nodes, all the things that we can put in the logic. Let's put, we call one that is called halt. Halt is pretty much doing nothing. It just stays there, the behavior runs, and it's gonna be there forever. So what we're gonna test if this is already working. We jump in the game, we have this character here. If we jump in the game, what we can do, we can look at a character, because this is gonna be a very easy thing to debug. And we press on our keyboards, we have like the slash on the numpad. And basically what we can see is like there will be on screen some information about the behavior. Here you can see, of course, like this the log, but on top you can see the name of the activity, that is engineering AI show, the one that we just created, and the primary subactivity name that is staying in idle. There's no special variable. There is something on the bottom. They can see that continues to run. That is like how many seconds the subactivity has run, or the subactivity started. So now we have a really basic things that kind of works. Of course, it doesn't do anything. So what we want to do is right now we want to verify if this character can move around, because if he can't move, he's definitely not gonna be able to interact with anything. What we usually do is that we have this AI physics button that allows us to move in the environment, but also to interact with the object. So right now the behavior is running, and we have like a middle click button. If we press around, the character should move, but we see it's like, it's not really moving. So what's going on? We didn't put navigation mesh. So what's the navigation mesh is the representation of the environment for the eye basically to be able to move around. How we do that is we create a volume pretty much around the environment. We can decide if we want to snap to the ground, to a grid. Just right now, just put it that we want to keep it on the solid. And we just create like a square around the character. We can move it a bit down, we can sync it a little bit more, we save. So it's good practice save all the time, because never know if it crashes eventually. And we get the back like draw like this one here. As you can see, there's this blue like square, and we can see how it's implemented a bit more. Sorry, there's like a bit out of my screen. So if we see this is our console, we can see like CVARs that are like a way for us to control the environment. And the back draw, we can put like tree. It's usually showing us how this is represented internally. That is like tiles and triangles. So the eye usually when it moves around to the environment, it creates like a path that is just transitioning through those triangles or through those tiles. If we middle click, now we run with shift middle click, we can make the walk movement, and we can test how the locomotion works. And with alt, we can just make it sprinting. And we can just like very easily test, if the movement is working as we expect. Cool. So we have like just the basics. What do you think, Jared? All clear so far?
I think we're halfway to our Star Citizen RTS.
I
Yeah,
feel like we
exactly,
could use
exactly.
this recording for new starters.
We could. We could. It's actually. I was thinking the same when I was preparing it.
It'll
So
be.
I think. Like,
Oh, you have no idea. One of the how often I get messaged from new employees who are just starting and like, hey Jared, I just want to say hi. I learned about the project from watching your videos, and I decided you were the place I wanted to work at because of the videos. So yeah, use
it
it.
is helpful
It
to
happens.
show these tools, right? Because I think sometimes we are also like so much deep into development that we should just sometimes spend a little bit more time to record those things even internally. That would help a lot. But it's good to use these things. At least it gets a bit more broader view, and it's always good. So now we want to have something to do for this engineer, and a way to have something to do is of course defining what they should do. That is the designer in charge, and maybe you can tell us something about what you would like him to do, or what usually an engineer does for us.
Uh, Usually would I guess he would go to something and fix it, check it
Yes,
out, examine it.
exactly. So this is exactly what we do. Then basically design it in a way in which basically the engineer is supposed to, of course, in our game to get tasks to do, and is usually repair stuff, right? This is what we want them to do. So
Yeah,
one thing that yeah, go.
sorry, I was just going to say, like, the key corners, we tend to try and find like a key cornerstone of every single behavior. Like, what is the purpose for having this behavior?
Mhm.
Because otherwise, there's nothing really unique about them, and they could just all be running the same behaviors. So with the engineer, it's more about, well, they can do everything like everybody else, like they're getting changed into whatever the relevant clothes are, or finding somewhere to sit if they need a rest or things like that. But for the engineer, it's all about maintaining things.
Yeah.
Their job is literally to inspect things to see if they're broken,
Yeah.
repair things if they can be
It's an
fixed.
archetype.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess.
exactly.
Is that the word?
Yeah, we basically use like we call it activities, but yes, it is a sort of an archetype of a job to do. And in essence, I think what is good is that they actually, I think, compared to lots of games where I think we like, yeah, usually tends to do stuff, but it's not really having an impact on anything, right? What we are trying to build is something that whatever action they do actually has an impact on the game. So what we want to show today is like, imagine we have a wall panel that is split between two different sub elements that we call relay. And this relay can have sub components inside that are probably, like in our test, are fuses. These fuses can actually have gameplay impact, right? And they can break for different reasons. Then you, as a player, can go there and replace it. If the AI does, it has the same exact effect as what the player would do. So, for example, if you hire this guy and you want him to be your engineer on board of your ship, you can then give him command and say, like, what, maintain all the wall panels in my ship, or what, I see in my map that this wall panel is broken. Can you repair exactly this one? And this is how we are building these behaviors, that they are sort of API of interface where you can control them. In essence, it's like designer running a mission are kind of doing the same as a player would do when they give commands to an NPC. So right now, what I prepared, just to speed up a little bit, of course I prepared some pre-configure in case we don't have some time, but the idea is like I have some default object. Let's say art creates for us some objects that we can use as a reference. In our case, we have three objects. That is the wall panel, the actual sub component, like that it will be the fuse, and the relay. So I will show you all of those right now.
And also, just for anybody else that's watching, that relay could be any kind of ship component. It could be a quantum drive. It could be a shield generator. The idea is that the wall panel is supposed to house any of those type of components, and it could be in any environment. The engineer is more of a infrastructure maintenance person versus
Exactly.
a mechanic that is more like small ship maintenance.
So this one basically, yeah, absolutely. And this is like one of the example we use today, and the relay, for example, right now is gonna be done something like this. Sorry, entities. Just prepare something to show, so at least I can find them very quickly. We have something like this, and as you see, it's a little box, where with some movable parts, and inside you can find some three component attached. How we do this one, probably art already can deliver us like something with a default loadouts where, you know, we can in our, for example, in this case, this is the wall panel. We have two, let me put the wall panel as well, at least people can have like a visual reference to that. Basically, the wall panel template. See, you have like two relays attached to a panel, and then inside each relay you have three subcomponents. And what we want, of course, is like we don't want to hard code any information like about repairing a specific wall panel type with three, you know, two relay and then three specific fuses. We want this to come from the setup of the object, and this is what we will build today. So what we'll create right now is, those are not usable yet, those are just piece of art. We want to make sure these objects become usable, basically. So the first thing we will start with is, I would say we start with the fuse, because it's a bit the simplest one. So as you can see, we can select things, delete, and now we will go in Data Forge and we will open the fuse. We will create a variant that we will configure. Go to template show usable. We'll make a new version. We add right now the usable component. What's the usable component? I think we speak about this lots of the times, you know, about what the usables are. In essence, a usable is the knowledge that the AI has about how to interact with that object, right? So in our case right now, we have a fuse, and we want to, this is an object you can carry. So the way right now, in a simplified way, we want to just generalize this as an archetype, is that it's a carryable object, right? So we can take this one, we can just select, this is a carryable object. Then what we do is we want to create what we call alignment slot. The alignment slot is the position in which you need to be to interact with that object. Now, right now, we are not gonna care about interacting with this object by itself. We will interact with this object through other objects, that is the wall panel. So in this case, we will just create like a generic alignment that we call main, and we will reference this one as the root. The root is really the entity position, basically. And if we go in here and we drag this new object that we just created, show usable. And now, for example, with the backdraw usable backdraw, of course, nothing goes there because we need to also enable the backdraw for carryable object, because otherwise there's just a lot of information here. And now you will see there is no alignment slot, because the alignment slot alone doesn't do basically any information. It's not, you can, if there is nothing to interact with, then there is no point of even showing information. So what we'll do right now is also adding what we call a use lot. The use lot represent sort of a virtual positioning space, or, you know, again, if it's virtual, it's virtual, but it could be a physical position where the interaction actually works. In our case, it's basically the center of the object, so you can interact from a position in that object, but no more other, like no other people can interact with that at the same time. So there is no way to have two people positioning at the same time around this object to interact.
So you don't
So
have
we call
multiple NPCs all going
trying to
the same
fight
thing
for
at the
having
same time.
that as well, exactly, right? So we will make like a use lot is called main, and we will instantiate which type of use channel we can use on those objects. And right now, what the things that we care, I think we won't even have time to show them both, but let's say we can take this object and repair this object, right? So if we search here for take, we see that we have different type of archetypes of the usable and different action. What we want to use is the carryable take in this case, and we assign the alignment slot from which.
Let me tell you something. This game, look at the complexity that goes into everything that's going on in the back. People don't know how complex, you know, and you know, you got to hand it to people, these developers and the artists and everybody who are making this game. I mean, this is kind of in a lot of games. Okay, this might be a little bit more complex than most, but I think this is what happens in a lot of games that people see, and they're showing this to you, opening up. They're raw, opening up for, you know, to a certain extent. how things work. They lift it, pulling apart the curtain. You know, they throw you behind the curtain, opening up the lid and showing you the engines. You know, and it's just doing one hell of a job. I find this stuff where while it's kind of confusing, I find it kind of interesting. Let's continue.
You can take it. And then we make another one. And we basically do repair. Then we make this one. We save. Go back to the level. Delete. Just put it back. And now you see you have the back throw happening, right? Now, one thing that we want to extend, of course, that we don't have it yet, is that these type of objects that they are carryable, they should have their alignment slot depending on the position of the object, but not on the orientation, right? Because the orientation is irrelevant. If these things fall, you might still need to pick it up from whatever position, and this is what we will extend in the next quarters. But right now, let's say we are not planning to interact directly, so it's a bit irrelevant. Cool. Let's go now to the relay, right? So we take the relay and we do a similar things. Create a new variant. Show usable. We make a usable component, we assign it. So this is for who's not super familiar, you know, with components. Mostly there is this dichotomy in programming that is about you know, inheritance and composition approach, right? So usually most of the things, you know, are inheriting as a functionality from something else. You might have like a vehicle, and then from vehicle you inherit and you create a car, or you know. But then what happens is that the things are in a way simpler, but a bit more monolithic. What we try to do here is like we try to get this responsibility on the component, so you can build it out of the composition of this extra functionality together. So in this case, the relay, this could be multiple things as archetypes. The way we tend to do is we try to use what we have, if we do have something that kind of fits, and then if things change, we might need to create a new archetypes. In this case, very much like we can imagine that we can still carry this relay. It's gonna be heavy, but you know, some people might be able to carry maybe with like, you know, an armor suit or whatever, then attach it to multiple, you know, things. So it can still be a carryable. It might still just be I don't know, a container type. You know, right now we use a carryable just for simplicity, and we do something similar in this case. We make the carryable, we create the alignment slot. Since we are not planning right now to interact with this immediately, it is a little bit irrelevant about this one. It's mostly this information is required by the system to be able to understand how those things are attached and how they flow into one another. So this is why it's important. And yeah, we will make the use slots as well in this case. We will call it take. Sorry, this will be still a main use slot, and then we'll have take from the carryable. We'll assign it to the right alignment slot.
These hierarchies are, I mean, you can't understate how important they are to making all of this actually function. You know, how often is a hierarchy, you know, broken because you have to create 20 different links in order to make these things, and one of the 20 links is broken and the whole thing doesn't work.
Yes, and the problem is often, I'm sure, like, you know, Dan or Hayden or Idris can say more. It's like it's so easy to even like get lost sometimes on why things don't work, and I think we are basically constantly trying to say like, okay, this is the problem, so let's try to add some extra the back throw to try to track it easier next time, you know, and we try to do that, or like, oh, this like the message is not really clear, right? Then it's like we had to do this.
The most simple thing ever. It could just be you're missing a left tag, you're missing a right tag, and then you'd spend half a day debugging it, and you're like, oh, it was just that, and you missed this one little field. But yeah, there's a lot of information going into these usables. So
you can spend quite a bit of time just breaking a single entity down to its core parts, just seeing, okay, well, this is okay, so you take that out and then you put a different thing in, and it's a bit like if you're building a PC and you just swap out different components just to see which one's the broken bit.
Yes, absolutely. That is usually a very good, like, you know, easy way for debugging stuff. Like, you start to remove it. It's like, is this one that broke it? You know, or like just do a little step at a time. This is what I try to add here. Is like this I parse debug draw just to show you guys like we have like these objects are attached to some item parts, right? The way we define those are, for example, if we go in here, we do have this item part container for the relay, and we can see that we have 3 slots that we call slot sub item 1, slot sub item 2, slot sub item 3. We can attach stuff in. Now we just need to explain to the usable code basically how this information is available to it. And you have this usable item part, so we can create like one data here that says on the slot sub item 1 we basically can play specific animation when we interact with that, right? So what we want to have is like eventually as a final result is that the engineer can go to the wall panel, understand this is interacting with the fuse that is on the top or the bottom, and then based on where that object is, it needs to play the right animation to take the left, the center, or the right. So maybe we should just explain a little bit more how we play these animations, right? It goes like it's like a Russian doll thing. Like you start one and say, "Oh, but there is still another piece that we need to explain." And here's like mannequin. So
I think we could quite easily spend half a day talking about mannequin.
Absolutely.
It's a minefield.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like I think there's a lot of stuff, but basically in short, what it is a lot of game engine have what's called an animation graph, right? The animation graph would basically explain how animation state transition from one to another and which type of animation you need to play. And then maybe usually in this animation state, you can maybe say like, with specific conditions, which animation it gets played or how you can randomize through animation, something like this. Mannequin is a kind of a piece of the puzzle. So it's a sort of database where you can use what we call fragment ID and fragment tags to immediately search for a specific animation that match specific condition. The tags are sort of conditions. So you can say like, are you an AI or a player, or which type of action are you trying to do? And in our case, let's go straight like in some example. So it's like we have like what we call fragment ID that could be usable action, usable face, usable idle. The usable action is the action you can perform when you're in a usable. So we call it usable action. It's just very easy to search. And then, for example, you have all those folders. Those folders are in essence the fragment tags. So it's a sort of when you go in a database and you search for some keys, this is what you get, and this is the animation results. In our case, we want to understand which animation we need to pick up specific object. In our cases, the wall panel or the relay has 3 item parts. So how can we identify that? Did the animator and tech animation team give us already something that we can use? So if we go here, if we say, oh, this is the action we want to do, that is the take. So inside take, do we have some version for the wall panel? Oh, yeah, we do. And then we have 2 versions, it's like high and low. And then we can create like, we can take a look at those. And we have like, oh, we have a version for center part, left part, and right part. And it's the same for the bottom, right? So this, what it means is, once we want to search for an action, that is the action take, for a wall panel on the high relay, for the fuse that is in the center part 01, this is the animation we will play, right? And then in the animation, we can also specify specific procedural clip layer. There is a sort of, Premiere layers, but just like that some play some animation and some play some code. And here it says when you hit this key, then that item attaches it from the relay. Now it passes in your hand and it attaches from the other one. And as you see, we have different animations for the left, and animators can make multiple variation, multiple type of urgency on doing actions as well. So we can basically pass this information from the behavior, and then Mannequin takes care of for us to select the right animation. So those are the 3 that we want to do. It's like center port, center underscore port underscore 01, left underscore port underscore 01, right underscore port underscore 01. So now we go in here.
So just in a nutshell, just so that it's super clear as well what's happening. Essentially what we're doing is we're just putting these a bunch of different tags onto the character, and then they just play whatever animation is associated with all of those tags. So they say, okay, I've got all these different things, that's to this animation, so I'm going to play that. And then in that animation, we can also add like little scripts to say, well, at this point of the animation, you want to trigger this interaction. So, and then that could be like, oh, I'm going to open the door at this point. So just trying to simplify it a bit more.
Yeah. And there is more here, but we will not see it today. But it's basically a way also to say from the behavior here, it would be like, oh, if I have something attached to this item port, this is the mannequin tag I get. But we can also use this data to say, do you have something attached that respects specific tags? And then basically we can sort it out. Let's say we say, I want to repair this specific fuse. Then we can say like, okay, where is that attached and which animation I need to play? But we could also say, hey, usable, do you have something that is damaged and is a subcomponent attached to you? And then it would be like, yeah, I have 3, right? And it's like, just get this one. And this one is the one attached to the item port 1. And to use this one, you need to take the left port 01 mannequin tag. This propagates automatically to the behavior later, we'll see.
So you're giving it a collection of choices, not every single choice that's available for every single NPC, because that would be horribly unperformative. But you're basically giving it its own little buffet of actions, and based on the situation that it determines, based on all the tags and what's happening, whether something's damaged, whether something's not, and whatnot, it actually goes, oh, this thing is damaged. Oh, it's in the left port, so I'm going to use left.
That animation, exactly. And basically, the good thing is that this comes automatically from what you already have calculated from the AI, so you don't really have, like, you can retrieve this data, but this data can be cached very easily from our code, because once you attach that object there, then you can immediately say like, oh, it's attached. Okay, cool. Is there some data related to this item port where I attached? That one is like, okay, in the moment you attach it, this is when you calculate it. That means that, attachment don't happen so often. While, search happens a lot. If you do it every time you search, then it can be very expensive. But if you do it when, you do the bare minimum operation, this is where it can be much more optimal. Cool. So we have this one right now.
Hey, Wendelius, how's it going, man?
Good. And we can now make the wall panel.
Long time no see. Yeah, unfortunately our schedules are still incompatible. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. But I wanted to wish you happy flights in at sea. Oh, okay, cool, man. You did Drake today? Here, let me pause this. Let me pause this bad boy. We're just watching Star Citizen Live from yesterday, and then I'm gonna head into the game and go to Drake. You rented a Caterpillar and Cutlass Blue and Red. Very cool. I might. I don't know. I like to kind of just look at them. I haven't never really rented any. I'm kind of happy with the ships that I have. But I don't know. Maybe I should rent one once or twice. Okay, you gotta run. All right. Well, yeah, I see, man. That's 1:20 in the morning. It's really late. So, hey, thanks for dropping by for a second. I really appreciate you coming in and say hi. And we're just kind of getting started here. So, hey, you guys, you have a good night and take care. And I'll try to see you again another time. I'll be back on Wednesday, but it's probably going to be about the same time. So I'm sorry, but I thank you very much for trying to hang out. I appreciate it. Have a good night, man. Okay, cool, man. Thanks.
We are actually interacting with. So it's definitely gonna be very important to understand if art and animation have defined specific location for us to interact with.
Wendelius, dropping by real quick.
Center point that is also
checking out the stream. I appreciate that.
We don't really care, because what we care is the description of the actions. But with the wall panel, we'll just open the character tool.
I wonder if I should start streaming. I wonder if I should go back to streaming on Saturday morning. I might have to do that, just so I can get people like Wendelius to watch. I may have to switch it up. I might. You know what I might do? I may end up scrapping my schedule. But I don't know if anybody actually pays attention to my schedule. I think people only watch me when they see me pop up. I don't think they say, "Oh, look, his schedule says that he's gonna be streaming on Saturday at such and such time." And I know some people who have schedules. I know some people have open schedules. They just say, "I stream Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays," but no time. I'm one of the few people that actually has a time in there. So I think I might scrap that and just stream whenever. And I think that it might behoove me to stream on Saturdays earlier in the day like I used to. Yeah, I think I might do that. One of the reasons why I stream later because I do this funky thing, which I might end up stopping if it's gonna keep me from streaming. I watch all the CW all the superhero shows, the DC superhero shows, the Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Black Lightning just ended. There was the series finale. But all of those shows that's on a channel called CW. I don't know. I'm talking to maybe the European guys here if they. But I watch all those shows, like all of them. But what I do is I save them and I watch them all on Saturday morning, like it's sort of like a Saturday morning cartoon. I know they're not cartoons, but I watch them all on Saturday mornings. So that's why I stopped streaming on Saturday morning. But what I should do is watch those shows and then start streaming, like as soon as I'm done, which is probably about noon Central Time here in the US. And then stop waiting until 7 o'clock. That's what I think I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna watch my shows and then go straight into streaming, and then have the Saturday evening off. So I may try to do that maybe next Saturday. Unfortunately, during the week I have to wait because I work during the day. Then I get home, I want to either try to have dinner or something, and then I try to start streaming in the evening, 6 o'clock, 30, depending on what time I get home. So I used to work at home, but now we opened up our new office, so I work in the office. So when I was home, I'd get off work at like 4:30, and then I just come up here and start streaming. Just come up the stairs and start streaming. Now I've got a half-hour commute, and and I just home. I gotta get dressed. I gotta chill out. Maybe have some dinner. Blah blah blah. So so now I kind of have to stream in the evenings on the weekdays, but on the weekends I might be freer to stream earlier. I don't really have any excuse other than my little selfish I want to watch my shows on Saturday morning. I could flip it and stream in the morning and then watch my shows in the afternoon. So I'm gonna try to remain flexible on Saturdays, start streaming earlier in the day. But we'll see what happens. Let's get back to this.
We just open. It's his character, but he actually opens pretty much anything. And if we open like this object, we see that we can debug throw, for example, the joints and the joint name, and the front part of the wall panel as something that we call anchor wall panel. And this is the position in which we expect the NPC to align, and this is the same position that we provided to the animation team to make sure that when they make the animation, these are perfectly aligned, and they can perfectly align their hands to the right object, use the right grip, when we play the procedural adjustment, and so on and so on. So what we need to do in this case compared to the other ones is, like, first of all, we will add the usable component.
The way I have my thing set up, it's really hard for me to keep an eye on chat. I have to like stare at that screen
I
there.
don't really expect people
where my
to
chat
just,
is.
take away like a wall panel from.
I have to be more careful.
Shit. But we actually have a wall panel.
Typing to me several times before I even realized
it. Archetypes, and then we basically say, as we've seen in Mannequin, there is a fragment tag for the wall panel. It's called wall panel. So we can say, anytime we interact with this object, we carry the wall panel fragment tag with us, and we propagate it through the chain. Now we do the alignment slot. The alignment slot in this case would still be called like a main alignment slot, but the helper name would be the one that we have seen here, that is anchor wall panel. Just copy it. Just don't want to misspell anything. And then we do the use lots. So use lots, in this case, we need two versions, right? I mean, we could use also only one, but I think, this is mostly for readability purpose. Use lot, like if you have two use lots, doesn't necessarily mean that two people can use it at the same time. Because when people can use it at the same time, when there is a combination of stuff, that is, the alignment slot you're in is free, the use lot that you are associated with is free, and the use channel you want to use, it's free. In our case, we will have two use lots that they reference to the same alignment slot, so you can't basically occupy the same alignment slot by two people, and then you will know why. So in this case, you have like a top one that represents the top relay, and then a bottom one that represents the bottom one. So the fragment tag for the top one, it's gonna be called high, as we've seen in Mannequin before. Now, what we do is that we add the use channel instances. So what can we do on the wall panel top? We can look at here. If we search for wall panel, you can see we have a lot of actions. For what we care today, we will try to limit to the things that we really care right now. And we can image that is open, because we want to open it, that panels. If it's closed, we should not be able to take something. And what we will do it here is we will put it to the right alignment slot. And then we will add something that is called tags to add on enter and tags to remove on exit. What does this mean is that when I'm trying to use some object that is high or low, I want the player to know that is interacting with the top or the bottom one to branch in the logic. So what we'll do here, we will add a tag to the character automatically when he uses the top one.
It's worth mentioning
That's
these are
smart.
game tags as well, not to be
These are
confused
game
with
tags.
fragment tags.
That's a classic, yes, things that it's really hard to follow sometimes because we call it all tags. But yeah, these are game tags. Maybe Dan can give like a little bit while I'm typing. Can you just give it a little bit?
So game tags are generally used. I mean, they're used in every game engine possible. They're a good way of just keeping track of literally anything that you want in any game element to do something essentially. So if it's a chair, you might give it a tag for a chair, and then you could search for that chair through that game tag, for example. There's no end of ways that you can use game tags, whereas a mannequin tag is very specific to mannequin and the animations that are being played. So a character, that doesn't have any mannequin tags on them will do literally nothing. They'll just stand there. But then as you start adding those mannequin tags to the character, then they'll start collating all of those and go, oh, well, that means I must have to do this animation. And in here right now, when we're adding these fragment tags, we're saying that if you are in, for example, this alignment slot in front of the wall panel, you're probably going to get a wall panel fragment tag, say, and then that will just be one of those many tags that are required to get the wall panel specific animations. Whereas a wall panel game tag would be used elsewhere, like I say, in NPC behavior, you would search for a wall panel tag to find that entity. You wouldn't search for a wall panel mannequin tag. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
Is
And also, yeah, we can do another thing that is called optional game tag. So what it means is for this top used lot, we basically know that that one is tagged with a specific game tag. So we say that every use channel, for example, that we interact with in here are related to the top, interaction, basically state or block. And to achieve that, we go to AI, call it top. Sorry, it's subsumption. Location. That we do the same with the bottom. So this is gonna be a bit of repetitive work. So you guys can talk while I just don't repeat a bit of this.
Yeah, so what Fran's doing right now, adding all of these game tags, is so that he's able to reference those in the subsumption logic, because you wouldn't reference, like I say, mannequin tags in the subsumption logic. So you can say if this, if even the character has a game tag of top on it, then make sure that you only play logic that is relevant to the top part of the wall panel. If he has a bottom game tag, then you could do logic that's specific to the bottom half of the wall panel instead.
Yeah, so basically the tags are always, we kind of use the game tags to sort of be able to differentiate in the behavior inside subsumption. So basically what Daniel said, like when you look at these graphs in subsumption, it's literally just to be able to like take like either one path or another path based on the game tags on the entity.
We use a lot of logic gates in the subsumption logic with tags. They're so fundamental in every game. I don't think you'll ever have played a game, at least not a mod game, that doesn't use tags in some way.
Yeah, and tags are also like very important for us because they also represent traits, skill and traits. Maybe Jacob, you can explain a little bit more of that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like for example, when you look at like a spaceship, we use the tag to be able to like differentiate. Is this like a combat ship, or is it like a security ship, or like is it a pirate ship or whatever? Like so, we also kind of use tags to be able to just to make like see the difference in like what type of enemy or what type of ship whatever that we're like using.
Yeah, or even with these fuses as well, we have game tags for is this damaged, even, so that would be the thing that the NPC checks when they inspect it. They go, they from a visual perspective, it just goes, oh, I'm looking at this fuse. But in the logic, what we're doing was saying, does this thing have the damaged tag on it? Because if it does, then we want to make sure we repair it or replace it. If it doesn't, then it's okay, and we can just put it straight back in the wall panel.
Exactly, it's super broad, the whole game tag system.
I think we will also do here right now is like this is like based on my basic template. So as you see in the default loadout, still loads the relay that is not the usable we just built. So we will basically just go through those objects, and we also replace the entity class name with the one that we want to really play. So it's like in the template show usable, we put the relay template show usable, the relay template show usable. We basically go in the default loadout, and we now add the subcomponent, this similar name. So as you see, it's like if you have one type, you just need to populate, then it just propagates.
You mentioned
yeah.
Obviously hierarchy is crucial. It's all of this is the Russian nesting doll you mentioned. It's do tags have a priority? Are some tags more important than other tags? Like if an NPC recognizes a tag or like a conflicting tag or something, does it prioritize one or the other, or does it just jump up on the chair and not know what to do?
I think that depends on the logic more than anything. I mean, all tags are created equal. It's just how you use them. Whereas mannequin tags, they do have a priority, so they will see something like, say, it was something more important, like how to deal with a fire, like I'm being shot. That's probably going to be a higher priority animation tag than just like a standard idle, for example.
But do you also have hierarchy in tags, as far as I know? Like for instance, you can have an entity with like an outfit tag. You can have an entity with like a specific, like very specific sort of outfit as well. So you can sort of work with the hierarchy of tags as well. In that regard, if you want to sort of make anything like specific behavior based on the hierarchical, structure of the tags.
Yeah, it really, it's so fundamental. You can use them in pretty much any way you like. That's one of the best things about them.
So here what we are finishing to set up is mostly the same things we did, like the item parse to understand when things are attached to what. And then I think I just skipped this part to explain, but basically we have also what we call the slotting setup, right? But we can show it a little bit in a little bit. So what we will do right now is we want to make sure that the engineer can actually find something broken, right? So we go back 1 second to the behavior and we say like, okay, we usually idle, but we want sometimes to search. Let's say right now in our test map that sometimes we want to search for something else better to do, right? So instead of halting, we just say like, we will just not do anything or idle for something like between every 2 and 3 and 5 seconds, right? So you can say like, it starts 2 is the basic duration, then we can arrive up to 5. So, and every 5 seconds we want to try to evaluate something else, unless it immediately finds it. Let's say we want to handle broken like subcomponent. So what we want to do is that we want to say this sub-activity, first of all, is high priority compared to the idle, so it should always be tried, if possible. And if possible means it needs to find some object that actually is broken, basically. So we might want to call it broken subcomponent. So it means that we need to search for any object in the world that is, or not necessarily in the world, but like around us right now, that is damaged. It would be like this global condition damaged. This is an item.
So these are all the game tags.
Those are all the game tags. Yeah. And that is a subcomponent.
See, the trick with the tag database is trying to find a tag that already exists and trying to not create a new tag if one does already exist.
Let's try to make it like that right now. If this gets selected, what we try to do is we basically say something. Since we don't have a line right now, we just create what we call bubbles that are like kind of a cartoon message on top of them. And we say like, I have found a broken subcomponent. For 2 seconds. Now we stay here. Then we hold for now. Save, we go back in game, close this. Now what we will do is first we remove the carryable, the backdraw. This we get a bit less the backdraw, and then we reload. Just this one. We go show usable. We put the whole panel. We rotate that just to make it a bit simpler for the character to go. Then we try to see if right now it finds something, and it doesn't find anything. Why? Because there's nothing broken, pretty much. So how do we simulate that? We could create like a little mission that just randomly, puts the subcomponents to be broken. Sure, it's gonna take a little bit more time. We don't have so much time. So what we will do, we'll mostly just go in our version of the object, and we just say that those are all broken. We just, basically assign only broken.
We're just gonna break them.
Exactly, right? So it's
I did the exact same thing.
We just like actually started this one, but it is this one. So we save it now. So those objects are there. Usually, just delete. We put it back. Now we should be able to, in theory, find this one. But there's no bubble on top. This is because usually we use this as the backdraw. So we need to enable this, what we call the prototype dialog bubbles. Put it there. We go in here. Oh, I found the broken subcomponent. But unfortunately, it doesn't do anything with that. So it's like, okay, what do we want to do? So now we can ask the NPC to go there and take it, right? Let's try to take it. So how do we do that? So it's like, okay. And by the way, it's like, where are those objects right now, right? So, okay, we found them, but how do we know which one we found? The system automatically reports these objects into this magic variable that get created when you create a new subactivity that is called required object search results. The only thing is we don't really know how or when we're going to use it, right? Let's say you find 10 objects and there are 10 engineers. Then I go to one, you go to another one. Then I still think that it's broken because somebody reported to me in the past. So we still need to try to validate if it is still broken. Right now, for simplification, we don't do that. Let's just see how we just first of all use that. So let's say we want to use a carryable. So we say like, you know what? I know those objects are carryable for now. I trust. I just call it subcomponent. So we can cast similar to how we do with code, and eventually I really hope to get this away. Me and Tony have lots of good plans to make sure that this can automatically inherit and be transformed. But for now, we basically say we have a lot of objects that we want to cast into usable. The problem is, this is a lot of options. I want to have a bit more control. So what I will do is I will probably just try to make a loop. And I will say, I want to loop until I fail what I'm doing next. And what I'm doing next is mostly popping an object. So I don't want to destroy this variable, basically, without being very careful. So I want to remove from that variable one object at the time and make sure that we know what we are doing, basically. Subcomponent object. So we say like we take an object out of that and we put it into this other variable. Now, if this fails, it means there's no more object to do, so we can just, do something else. In our case here, it's like we could cast it to a usable. This could also fail, but this part, in a way, we don't really care right now. So let's say we are okay handling this error with just suppressing the failure and say like, you know what, this is fine for now. and if we need to do some logic, because basically what is important to think is in the behavior flow logic is you want to handle the failure at the point in which you still have the context, because the failure means something at that point. So in this case, failing means that I don't have any more object, but in this case it means this object is not the type that I was expecting. So I could, in theory, add also something here that is it's in core, I think, that we call bubble error, that are a sort of this bubble that we use for prototype, but also report an error similar to how we do code when we do assert. And it's like, you know what, this logic is wrong. I think you wrote something previously that is wrong, is reporting you some object that is not correct. Of course, it could be data error. This is why we don't crash like an assert might do in code, but we still report it a bit harsh, and there is a pop-up that comes out and says like, are you sure you need to review your logic here? And in release, of course, this doesn't do anything. But anyway, we can remove this one. Now we have an object. Now we can do an action. That is, we want to use this object that is a usable. And what we can do here is we can take it. We walk to there, and we just use whatever we can. Like if there are multiple use lot or whatever, but right now this is not really important. So let's see if this now works, because there will be stuff that is missing, and you see this is failing right now. So why? Because right now this object is not just in the world, it's attached to other object, and this is where we need to explain the system how the routing works. And routing means how a function call gets transported into the larger objects, for example. So it's like, well, I know you want to use the fuse, but to use the fuse, you need to interact with the relay. You say, I know you want to interact with the relay, but to interact with the relay, you actually need to use the wall panel, right? So what we'll do now is we will set up this information on the object here. So maybe you guys can, while I set that.
You're going into a little bit of overtime here.
Yes, we finished this one, and then I just show you the logic, and I think we need to shorten a little bit what I expect, or we can just drag. If it doesn't work, we can just drag like the one that I already prepared, and I can show you.
We haven't even started on the engineer behavior yet.
I know, right?
Very difficult to cover such a big behavior in such a short amount of time, and it's one of the more complicated behaviors that we've worked on. So, as you know, Dan.
These one and the bartender are the really complicated one.
Oh, we know how complicated bartender is. Some of us did 8 different segments on the bartender before it was done.
Yeah.
And we're going to call this part 1 then. Part 1 of many.
Yeah, we'll do part 2 engineer in a few weeks.
So basically what we are saying here is that to interact with the slot sub item 2, we need to pass through the use lot main. And then I was already setting up before just to speed up, but I think I didn't finish it. So it's like there is the in the wall panel instead, as you can see, is like we have this other slot that says like, to interact from the top, you need to pass through the top high or top or bottom low use lot. So we can now see, delete this just for safety. See, the guy now moves there. He knows how to interact with that. It's actually I used the wrong alignment slot here. Seems like. And this is why it's not set up correctly. Let me try to look at which one I wrote. Probably I copied the wrong one. Core wall panel.
While Fran
but
is working,
it's fine. Yeah.
While Fran is working, I'll pose a question to everybody else. Why do NPCs love standing on chairs so much?
I think Fran's answered that a few times already, haven't you? It's one of those things. I mean, I've answered it when I've been doing Star Citizen streams as well. It's one of those kind of bugs that has the exact same visual output, but it has lots of things that can cause. Yeah, exactly. So you fix it one way, and then the next week you've got the exact same visual output, but it's a completely different bug. It's just one of those.
Yeah, it's really accurate. Yeah, there's so many things going into like the usable code that it's really a jungle sometimes to sort of figure out what exactly is causing this bug. So
yeah, definitely. It could be like a missing animation. It could be the animation name's changed. It could be the setup's changed slightly by accident in the parent above the variant. So it could be absolutely anything.
I remember one recent. It was caused by people leaving the area, Then the NPCs that were still sitting in the seats, they basically got turned off. And then when a player came back, they were turned back on, but the game didn't put them sitting correctly in the seats anymore, so they were just standing on it instead.
Yeah, there are like tons of problems basically that are causing that, and they're mostly coming from the streaming right now. This is why, like, I'm the first one that hates that bug. It's just that I think it's always like the problem is that the eye is at the end of the chain. So every time something gets improved, right, and we get this side effect that they all look like the same bug. This is the problem, but most likely are not. So we had like this, as you see right now, it just took all the objects and it just dropped them all, of course, but it's kind of cool. It just went with all the animations and he played all those objects.
I never had that one, friend. So you've done something new there.
No, because I'm just looping through the take only, right? So it's like take one, then he takes the next one, he takes the next one, takes the next one. That's the only thing it does right now. But it's for the standing on the chair, basically this is what we are trying right now. We want to basically dedicate some time. We will dedicate some time to make a proper plan. I'm scheduling sometimes because I'm a bit tired of seeing it. Of course, like eventually, I really want to have like a proper animation of a guy standing on the chair for like just on purpose, and it would be like gotcha, and the
like a 1 in 1,000 NPC.
1 in 1,000, it will happen, and the point will be fun. Yes, we need to do it, but yeah, it's basically a lot due to sometimes, for example, we don't know when something streams out that it will eventually come back. That we can't right now guarantee it because we don't have yet the proper persistence, of that stuff. So it's like we either reserve that object for somebody that might never come back, or it might come back with a different idea right now, and sometimes, and then it's like, this was yours, but now you can't use it because it's reserved for somebody that is never gonna come back. So we are not doing it. And then of course sometimes what happens is, another NPC actually sits there before, and this is when you see sometimes two NPC one next to each other. Maybe the streaming takes too long, and then the guy's already there. But there are also in place already lots of fallbacks, and whenever we find them, we basically had them, and then we try to recover from some of the situations right now as well. So there is a lot of little pieces, because with the population manager, of course, this is meant to be different, right? When NPCs goes away, those will be repopulated by the population manager. So this is why, like, in a way, this is not real a problem that will exist in the future, right? Because it's basically with our plan that is already a known problem in a way, of the fact that the guys just come back for just because the streaming kicks in, right? But then there is, like, of course, the stuff that there might be some bugs sometimes with the LOD update. We try to be efficient in updating stuff that is not visible, and maybe that one fails to attach, and we are searching for some of this stuff. So there is, like, as Dan said, same visual problem with several bugs that we are constantly fixing, and some new optimization things might still get it back. Anyway, I think we are pretty much like at the end, but the only thing I wanted to show you is basically these things, how the actual logic works. It's going to be like just the last 2 minutes. If we go on the wall panel, when we do take, what do? We basically still say like, oh, I want to open the panel. No matter what, I want to try to open it. And then in the open, this is where all the game tags we have set up come into play. Because basically what we try to do is, for example, we try to see, say, are we on the top, are interacting with the top, or are we interacting with the bottom? I mean, this is really for safety, because in theory, if you're not interacting with the top, you should be interacting with the bottom. But then we say like, is the object actually having some tags? Like, is he open? If it's not open, right, then we want to open it. But if it's open, that's fine. So it's a sort of like building on top of the logic we already have without having to duplicate too much logic, right? Because at the end of the day, use channels for our internal logic are just functions. We can just call function and then just let them execute if necessary, right? And of course, like, whenever we see like, is this real a problem or performance something, then we can have some early out or other double checks, and we can optimize this. But this gives us like a very scalable solution, first of all, for the logic, and then the take says like, okay, after I open, now I'm in a state in which I know that it's been open. The player could have opened before, right? Even if the eye is really precise, we'll always close all the doors. We can never guarantee that, because player could troll around, or actually might have forgotten, because maybe, I don't know, the eye as well might have combat started while they were repairing something, right? And now they are back after
It also
1
means
hour.
that Yeah, it also means that we're able to have NPC behavior that just goes around closing all the wall panels.
Absolutely. And they're like, oh, we'll open that. Actually, it could even feel wrong. Like, there could be guys in a state in which they say, I expect everything to be closed. If something has opened, maybe there's somebody here not expecting, right? And this we could also deal on top of that.
It's going to be
And then
one
basically
guy
say,
on
like,
a javelin just walking around closing all the doors.
it's like, it's hot man. There's somebody always opening these wall panels. And then
That's
we
why
can
it's so
bas-
cool. Sorry,
Yeah.
interrupt.
No,
That's
go
why it's
on.
so cool. I was just saying it like substantially it's like super generic, like in
Mhm.
like how we sort of modularize it and split up everything into tasks, and that's what makes it so cool because we can sort of do whatever we basically want. We can chain the tasks in every way we want, and we can sort of make like so many different behaviors, like because of this modularity.
Yeah. And this is the other magic task that is taking all the data, we put it there and says which object, which mannequin tags I need to use to interact with that object, and then it will get that one from the item port, and then we merge it from, it's like there is like some variable here that get populated by the code that says like, oh, you are already in a take. That means that you already need to use take for your action. You already need to use wall panel because we propagate there, and then we also can guarantee that, for example, we can say like, you know what, you're trying to take the wall panel, you just can't do it. But if you're taking something inside, we can always we have two variables that basically tells us which usable we are in this case. For example, the usable variable contains the wall panel, and it's like we want to open the wall panel, we don't want to take the wall panel, but then we want to interact with a way with the item to take, that is actually coming as well from the routing, and it's the initial routing usable that is like I started from the fuse and I arrived to the wall panel. So we have all these little pieces that has been implemented in all those years basically, and especially with the bartender helped us a lot, and the engineer is helping us a lot. Then basically started to do this use channel inception, and I'd be, I was like, oh my god, Dan,
Use channels
it's
inside
like,
of use channels.
yeah, this is scary. And I was like, actually, this is really cool. I was like, we can make it working very well.
It's literally the only thing that only a designer could think of that.
Yeah, no. I was like, and I usually know, it's like, if it's possible in the tool, you guys will do it 100%. Like you.
I joked about how many segments, how many times we covered the bartender, but really the value of all that work, wasn't just the bartender. It was creating this infrastructure that you've been showing us for this last hour that we can now apply to everything from engineers to pilots to you name it.
I think we could probably do a better job of simplifying this, because
that's
kind of what we're going through right now is years worth of research and tech development, and it's kind of coming out as probably a bit of verbal diarrhea, but it's
we need to make it faster for designers. This is our next goal. Is of course, like for example, we have a tool we are working on that is the usable builder, right? I think some of those features are not yet supported in there. This is why I didn't show it today. But the goal is to have these tools where you have a bit easier like click approach compared to like the data for structure is mostly it's this data content, but you don't necessarily have to interact with that, right? You might have a tool that is much more visual that allows you to to click here, say, oh, I click on this item part, cool, I want to add this data directly, and then it automatically propagates, right? This is our goal.
Right. You build the system and then you build the tools to make the system
Absolutely
usable.
Yeah, sometimes we do it in parallel, but then it means also that you're a bit slower in developing the system, and it depends about the priority of the company as well, what you want to deliver.
I mean, it was only a couple of years ago that the concept of use channels didn't even exist, and yet we still had usables in the game.
Well, we've got a little over 1,200 people watching live who all are ready to create NPCs now.
Thank you guys for all the attention that it was. I hope, like, again, for me it feels always like that is not enough what I'm showing, right? But I think it could be nice to also get the feedback from people, like whatever they want to see, we can show it next time.
Hayden, before I let you go, I have to mention your RGB chair.
Why, thank you. Yeah,
where did you get an RGB chair?
It's the 100 million PewDiePie limited edition chair. I have to represent.
Oh no.
No, I'm one of them. I'm sorry.
Discreet crowd
That's cool,
just
that's
went
cool.
straight down the toilet.
That's 2-1. Come on.
All right. Well,
Cool.
that's where we'll end the show. Thanks, Fran, Dan, Jacob, Idris, and Hayden. Thank you for taking the time out of the end of your week.
Oh,
to
it
be
is an
here on
RGB
the show.
Oh,
I understand you're the only studio that doesn't have Monday off, right?
No. Yeah,
Suckers.
but the third is off in Germany, so we have.
Yeah, you guys have plenty of bank holidays, but you enjoy the one day you guys have to work and we'll all be off on Monday.
We'd be
Happens
so
once a year.
tight.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Guys, this has been Star Citizen Live Game Dev, building NPC behaviors.
this guy did 90% of the talking right here.
We'll see you next
And these
week,
poor
everybody.
guys
Take care.
just kind of
Bye.
sat.
Bye, guys.
Was a pleasure.
See ya.
Bye.
Ciao.
PewDiePie chair? Really?
Yep.
That's.
Okay. Well, that was really intense and interesting. So let's go ahead and get into it. I don't think I have to fly anywhere. To be honest with you, I think I'm there. So I got my joysticks all set up. But I think I'm already at New Babbage. So I may not have to fly anywhere. This may be just a walking tour of the show floor. So let's see. Boom, ka-doom, doom, boom, ka-doom. A little bit closer. Get a little closer. Okay. Yes, we good. I'm just gonna jump in. Hope that my controls are good. If they're not, I have to come out of the game and check it again. In case I have to fly, but I don't think I'm going to need to fly anywhere. I just want to go to the show floor and then check it out and take my time. And chillax. I love this time of year, man. It's 8 o'clock and it's still bright light out. I love it. I love the summer. God, I love summer. And for a guy who stays in most of the time too, who stays inside, you know, which is horrible, but I do, even though I don't go outside much, I really like summer. And I do like going outside. I went for a walk this morning, a short one, down my block. But a little bit cooler. But it wasn't really that hot today. But for the most part, I really do like going outside, but I hate just going outside by myself. You know, here I am. Me, just, you know. But I mean, I like to go to a picnic with friends or something like that. I don't get to do that often, so I end up just like, I'll just stay inside. You know what I mean? I'd like to build a deck in my tiny yard. What I want to do in the next couple of years. Sometime in the next couple of years. Just a small little platform, you know, and then put like a little roof on it, like a pergola, I think they're called. Okay, and if when I have that, I'll sit outside a lot. Read books or whatever, listen to music. So that's my plan, is someday have a tiny little deck. Like have this space in my backyard. Actually, it's a side yard, but it's kind of useless, you know. But I'd like to cover it with a deck and put just a couple of you know, deck chairs, couple of patio type lounge chairs out there, and I will sit out there all through spring, summer. You know, early summer evenings when it starts getting a little cooler, that kind of thing. Have a couple of friends over, you know. I don't really smoke much, but, you know, have a cigar or two, have some drinks. You know, I already have a few people in mind that I would love to have over. Oh, Oh, I just realized I missed my friend's birthday. Oh, I've been so occupied. Oh, when was his birthday? It was just, oh no. I think it was days ago, too. Oh, it was last week. Oh, it was on the 20th. Oh, damn it. Right there in my calendar. Oh, well, sorry, E. I gotta give him a call. Alright, so I'm still dressed in my civvies. So let's just head on down to Drake. At the spaceport. Stuff is still streaming in, that's why you see that hiccuping. Going that third person bad boy. I can walk a little bit fast. Lord. Get rid of that. Not really gonna be interacting with a lot of people. One bad thing about this microphone, the way I have it, like I can't see my key. It hides like half the keyboard. I brought up another stream. I brought up my mod view, and so the stream, the chat is like right, kind of right in my face here. So I should be able to catch chat better. We're just strolling, role playing. I wish I can interact with stuff from this view. You know, like if I hit F now to interact with something, it goes here, and then it stays here. And I wish I could. I wish that, you know, like the character would lift his hand up and push a button or whatever from that view. That would be cool. Excuse me, chat. Excuse me, chat. All right, tomorrow, man, Indianapolis 500. No, that's wrong. Today's the 29th. I'm gonna go to the oh, you know what? It might be in both.
Doors are now closing.
Oh, what's this say? Oh, coming soon. Balgini Point. That's very far from here. Oh, you know, I said I was gonna do the tour. I don't know if I'm gonna. Maybe I'll try to do the tour again. I said I was going to, but I don't know if I will. I probably won't. Because I actually forgot to check to see if I had missed anything. Like watching somebody else's stream and seeing if there was some area that I didn't go, that I missed on the Javelin tour. I could probably pull that last follower and let post down. Oh, you know what I should do? Big again. A little bit big. Doesn't have to be real big. All right.
The capsule will be leaving the station momentarily.
I bet you that the other stuff is still there. Here, you know, I'm gonna stand here, and I'm gonna alt tab out real quick. I want to check Invictus. Let's see what Robert's aerospace has. Robert's space industry. Okay, so this is Drake. Drake is the 29th and the 30th. All right, so we're still here. The final 48 hours. Okay. What's this? Okay. So the 27th and 28th. Yeah, I didn't even make it into this one. I didn't get this. I didn't get to look at Anvil for those 2 days, 27th, 28th. Thursday, I had a Bible study, and Friday I had a game night. So that was it. So I missed those days. So Drake is today and tomorrow. Okay, so I'm glad I'm catching it. I'm kind of a little annoyed at myself that I didn't do at least a little bit on the other 2 days, but both of those sessions took up like the entire night, so I wasn't able to play the game. I'll stay in first. Well, there's always next year. And we are just strolling along. I always go through the left. No damn difference whatsoever. But I just want to change it up a little bit. You know why? Because that's what I want to do. Because reasons. People say. Yeah, they still have these signs. I think they're supposed to change these signs out. Unless something is still there, but it's supposed to close down as of yesterday. I'll go back there. When I go to, again, I'll probably end up at Wally's bar. When I go back there, when I go back to the Commons, I'll slide over to see if that place is still open. I don't think it's supposed to be. Covered up my. I need to get back to that. Alright, here we go. New babage. Break. Drake. I will. I like Wally's bar. Okay, that guard isn't here.
Ready to upgrade. Located in the plaza, the factory line has
Oh.
Microtech's latest offerings.
Out of power. Seen that before. Fence con. Turn it on. Oh! Did I just turn it on? Crap. Wow. Connected. Here we are. After the fleet launches, who's left to protect you? And here is Drake. Here's the caterpillar. Not realize how many ships Drake had. Oh, this is where I just was. Yeah, server access. Okay. I was like, where is that bringing me? Center hallway. Stairway access. Ah. So this is like an observation thing. The actual pilot station is on the opposite side of the ship. That's forward. This is starboard, and that way is port. That's the back. So we head to the other side. Oh, that's fun. And this will bring you to the cockpit. Where she blows. Okay. Even a ladder down here, and here's some stations here. Got where that goes. Here, let's go back this way. Center hallway. EVA access. This is module access. Wait, why is this EVA access? Oh, here, because this is a hatch. Okay. I didn't look up. I thought it was just a ladder going up to a different deck. Okay. So here's the. This is where you go through each individual. Oh shoot! What the heck? I didn't want to do that. Sometimes you get captured by the ladders. So this is where. This is one of the modules, and you just keep going through module after module. It's really pretty cool. All these doors closed. They just have them open for demonstration purpose, play purpose. So yeah, just keep. Oh, don't go down that ladder. So here they are. They're all open. Matter of fact. I guess not. I guess there's a control down there where I can open the door. See that? See how it's a double door? Means that you can, you know, the separate thing. It's a separate module. Yeah, it's an interesting ship. I really like this ship. It really feels like a ship, you know. Then here is the front. Look at the down at the little main opening, and another turret. And then you can also just climb down one of the ladders like I did it accidentally before, but I'm actually going to do it purposely now. Okay, go up front. This cargo access, as you can see on the door. Boom. Where cargo can be pulled in from the big main door. I think I can close this. Oh, you know, I think they kind of just didn't want people messing with it. So I think it's truly in display mode. Yeah, this stuff is badass. Look at this. Look at the detail. Again, I'm hoping that this little display is going to actually be used. Oh, look. Did I mess it up? Wait. Ah. Wow, did I mess this up? I broke the thing. Oh, there we go. You have to like walk away. Alright, let's not mess with the buttons anymore. This goes back through each module, only down on the lower floor, on the base. You can climb up the ladder. That's the gangway I was just walking through. We'll get smart action here. Now here we go. This is interesting. Toilet there. For a meeting room. This is a couple of bunks here. Go through this. This is the elevator act. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's that. The other door I was just looking through. There's a gun rack. Wow. I thought there was a gun rack on it. Okay. Lower hallway. Back in engineering. Parrot. Stairway access. Let's go. All right. And here's the. We're back at that observation area, and then over there is the cockpit. This is where we just went. Now let's go down this ladder back here. And this pod, this whole cockpit can detach and fly away from the ship. That's why there's a double door there. And then come back and reattach later. For the player. How was it? Oh, wait. Very much like a submarine. Oh, there's a sink here. Look at that. Oh, there's some more bunks and cooking. Is this for cooking? Yeah, this is cooking and another sink. Wow. It took a close look at. Oh yeah. This is the This is the part that can. This is also the part that can separate and fly off. That's why it has a bed. The door is not accessible. Where'd that go? Yeah. Spartan. Nice standing in the door, dude. Alright, let's get out of here. Damn, I forgot where I was. Oh yeah, here we go. More hallway. And elevator access. Get out of here. Boom. No, in case somebody's trying to talk to me. Nope, don't think anybody is. All right. Here's all the different Drake ships. This is the, I'll find out in a second, variant is. This is the Drake, Cutlass Black. This is the Cutlass Black. Where was I going? This way. This is the Cutlass Red. That one I know. This is the, red is the rescue version. This one's a cool one. This one has a respawn bed, like a medical bed. It's like a medical. It's like an ambulance, which is really pretty cool. I don't own one. And I don't even know why. I really think I should get one. They're very utilitarian. They're very useful. Here's the scanning bed. So you come up to here, then I think you sit down or hit this panel or something. Forget. Wow. And then you will respawn. If you die nearby, will respawn right there. Cockpit. Yeah. Oh wow, this doesn't have a turret. At bay. Oh, this. That's the Cutlass Red. Why can't I highlight the ship? There it is. Cutlass Red, yep. Okay, this is the Cutlass Blue. Because it's somewhat blue. Now what does the interior of this look like? What's here? Check it out. La 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 la. Oh, okay. This one is for it's like bounty hunting. You put people in these pods, and you transport them. Prisoners and such. Look at that. There's and yes, forgot about that one. Yeah, you put people in there that people have been captured or people who are being transported. Put them in here and they go into some kind of stasis, I think. Some kind of hibernation. And then you transport them. Yeah. Like, wow. Right, that way. That is the Buccaneer. Oh no, it's not. Rear section. Player. Total player. Oh, okay, it's a side door. Can I get in? Yeah. Boy. I mean, I can't get in? Oh, it just wants me to... Okay, what? Oh, enter ship. Whew. Yeah, so these things are very, very interesting. Oh, it was a crew of two. It's not. There's only one bed. Buccaneer. Okay, I know what I did wrong. Oh, excuse me, this is the Herald. Not the Buccaneer. What the hell am I talking about? This is the Drake Herald. I thought I was saying it wrong. But I did not discover my errors. I made two mistakes. Alright, what's back here? I don't think there's anything back here. I don't think there's anything drastically interesting. Hey, Sir Aaron, how you doing, man? Good to see you. We're just taking a look around Drake here. Just kind of going into each ship and just taking a quick look around. Thanks for dropping by, man. I appreciate it. How you doing? You're doing okay? You have a good weekend so far? Mine is pretty good. Got a little bit of a health challenge, but I'm kind of getting through it. Kind of makes me a little uncomfortable breathing. It's like massive indigestion. So I went to 3 doctors this weekend and they're checking me out. So I got all sorts of blood tests and all sorts of stuff coming in the next couple of weeks. I gotta do. So it's kind of like but. At the moment, I feel fine. I think it's just bad indigestion. This is the Buccaneer. I'm sitting here saying that was the Buccaneer, and this is the Buccaneer. Yes, Drake's discount convention. Yeah, right. Not as super nice as the one over everybody else over at Tobin. Your ship. Get in for a second. Let's see what it's like. I don't think I've ever sat in a Buccaneer. Cool. Cool. Have to. La 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 la. Oh shit. Oh good, I'm glad you're doing okay. Alright, let's wrap around, keep going clockwise here. This is the Drake. Oh, it's another Drake Blue. Same as the other one. Oh, so they just repeated everything on the other side. Okay, so it's mirrored. I looked at there, I was like, I didn't know there was so many Drake variants, but there's really it's only a couple, and they just have two of everything. Yeah, this is the weird habitation pod one. Yeah. Okay, I wasn't losing my mind. That's the red, and then the other one is the black. Okay, so I guess we're pretty much. Oh yeah, let me go back here. Take a look at that bike back there. It's weird. My mouse is over here on this other monitor, but it's still, Oh, okay. I just fixed it. My mouse was like over on my other monitor, but it was still controlling the game. I was like, what's going on? But, alright, I just fixed it. So here's the break. Swag? Oh, see, it just went off the screen. Oh, you know, I know why he's doing it. A little lounge here with the Dragonfly. I think I've ridden the Dragonfly once. I can't remember. Neat. Well, looks like I've gone through the entire show floor. Oh wait, what's clear the oh no! I am wrong. Up here. Wow. The Vulture. Oh, this is the Vulture. Oh, yeah. There's no denying it. Winning can be a messy business. When your fleet of Drake ships is done laying waste to the latest batch of outlaws who were foolhardy enough to tangle with you and your people, there's going to be no shortage of wreckage to wade through. That's where the Vulture comes in. No need to leave behind a veritable junkyard around your station or homestead for criminals to use as cover next time they attack. The Vulture can help you clean it up and then some. Forget just clearing the way. Salvage pays. What better way to defend yourself than to have a broken ships of your enemies pay for your next round of ammo? Sounds like fitting end to. Oh, wait. The Vulture, ladies and gentlemen. touch, hit, touch. Alright, and then back here, walking so slow. I don't have to walk this. Aha! This is the Vulcan, I think. Oh, the Corsair. Oh, duh, it's Corsair. Read it real quick. We at Drake Interplanetary know that sometimes defense isn't just about protecting what's yours. Sometimes it's about striking out and facing the unknown head on. How can you ever be truly safe if you don't know what threat is waiting beyond the next mountain range, moon, or jump point? Thanks to a large hold capable of stowing a small vehicle and specially designed asymmetric convertible wings, the Corsair adapts gracefully to unfamiliar atmospheres, combat situations, and hot landing zones. Be ready for anything, and you'll never be caught unprepared. But what do you know? Excuse me. Your wings. Nice, man, nice. Here goes my mouse doing something funky over in the other all right. All right, and there's something on the other side too. Head over there. Good. And we have here. Oh, of course, the Kraken. The Kraken has been released, and that means one thing: no putting it back. This attack carrier has changed the way militias operate forever, and when it comes to personal defense, there's one thing you never want to be: falling behind. A protector and a beacon of freedom in an often cruel universe, Drake Interplanetary has made this capital class ship available to all those tasked with safekeeping those unable to protect. Kraken is both a sanctuary and a self-contained war machine, ready to take on the most daunting adversary. Wow. It's the Kraken. Oh wow, I didn't realize it had 4 engines, that big main engines. Smaller ones. Never really got a good look at the back. Wow, man. I love those landing pads. Just gives it an aircraft carrier feel. All right, that is it for Drake here. Who always coughs? Everybody's always coughing in this game. What's going on with the coughing? Excuse me. Like walking right on top of you. He's always coughing. Always this little. You know? You hear that all the time from the NPCs. I'm gonna click on something with my mouse over on the other screen like that. All right, I think we're done with Drake. Does anybody in chat know if the stuff is still going on over at Tobin? I'm gonna go check it just in case because they still have the signs up for the other stuff, but the date actually says it's to the 28th. And today, since being that today is the 29th, oh, here's this guy. Sorry, dude. Transporter accident. Sorry. Being that this is the 29th, I'm figuring that was just like a false. Like they just haven't gotten around to taking down the signs. But just in case, I'm gonna head back there. I kind of want to go back there anyway. To maybe head to Wally's bar. Hopefully it'll be nighttime and the place will be jumping. Not like last time I was, oh, let's go to Wally's bar. It was the middle of the day and it was like dead. Okay. Elevator. Here. All right. Well, that was quick.
Remember, your belongings belong to you. Keep a careful watch of all personal items.
Your belongings are your belongings, so they belong to you. All right, let's just take a quick peek at the Tobin Center in case something funky's going on there. But I kind of doubt it. Oh, look at those guys down there. That's a place where you don't belong. Ah, standing down there.
Welcome to the new Ravage Interstellar Spaceport.
Oh, I had to walk through the wall.
Microtech, the Empire's leader in cutting-edge technology, where creative innovation meets innovative creativity.
I think it's because I have my my game running in borderless, just so that I can tab out easier and it doesn't. Now let me tab out, and maybe that kind of fixes it. Or I think what it is, because as I'm moving my mouse around, it goes off screen and goes onto the other monitors. And it's just weird. And then I'm actually highlighting stuff on my other monitors. I'm like, what the heck's going on? Like, I don't think this arrow's supposed to be on the screen like this. So I messed something up. Drake's Discount Convention. Poor Drake. Alright, let's go this way. See, the signs are still here. But the dates are correct. The dates are like, you know, May 21st to May 28th. So I figured these signs would go away. And then the signs would point to Drake at the station. But there's no, you know, they didn't change them. Well, let's head back there just for the hell of it.
Capsule now approaching station. Stand clear of disembarking passengers.
Yes, I will. Thank you. Oh, am I? Yeah. Hoping I wasn't getting on the wrong train.
Careful, doors are now closing.
So today and tomorrow is Drake, and at the end of it. Oh, it is nighttime. Cool. So when we go to Wally's bar, it's gonna be pumping.
Nearing next stop.
This. No. Next stop. Where am I? This is the Commons, yeah.
Careful, doors are now closing.
Okay, I'll get that. And it brings it back.
Nearing next stop.
Yeah, it's a really short train ride. That's how you know this is the place. Here we are. I'm just gonna check it. I'm sure it's probably gone, but I just wanted to see it, if it's really there or not. Oh, and then we'll get back on the train. The tram. The pram.
Invictus has been a time for friends and family to come together and celebrate the pillars of duty, service, and civic pride.
I think still here. I bet you the elevator. Oh, well, I don't know. Let's see. Let's see where it takes me. End list. Oh, nothing. No, you can't go there. All right, it's done. Yeah, there's no buttons for the other go floors. Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. Get out of here.
The crews will push themselves to their physical and mental limits. But the real lesson that our divisional officers will impart is that the Navy doesn't excel based on the individual, but as a team. To get a better understanding of what they have to look forward to in naval service.
Oh, what the hell am I doing? I am not focusing. Go down here. All right, we are going to go to the Commons.
UEE Navy in their ongoing mission to protect the Empire.
Oh, looks like this is early.
Capsule.
Capsule. Thank you. It's a capsule.
Careful, doors are now closing. Nearing next stop.
Commons.
Stand clear of disembarking passengers.
Hey, Sir Aaron, are you still here? I just realized something. I forgot to ask the last guy who was in here, and I want to test something out real quick. He might not be here. Average Plaza. Promenade. Alright, I'm not gonna worry about it. This arrow in the middle of the screen is really bugging me. But I don't think it's supposed to be there. Something got bugged. Cursor. Always go to the right. This time I'm just gonna go just to shake it up. Doesn't make any real difference. Here we go. I am gonna celebrate the day they put some different music in here, or change it, or have like a a playlist. It's gonna be awesome. Oh, they're still standing on chairs. I ain't gonna bother with the place where I can sit. I can sit here.
Alright, maybe later. Need a drink, Tiger?
All right, here we are at the bar, chilling out.
That's fine. You do you. Get you something. That's fine. You do you. Thirsty?
All right, that's enough.
No sweat. Get you something.
Oh! I accidentally sat at another table. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, it rubber banded me back there. Oh no, no, that's not. Oh, what the hell happened? I think I hit F accidentally when I was near that table. Well, I didn't hit F accidentally. I hit F to bring my cursor back on the screen. I don't know why it's doing that. I probably have to leave the game and come back. But I may actually end up ending the stream here anyway. This is going to be a short stream tonight because I just wanted to check out Drake. I don't really feel like doing much of anything else. Just wanted to see the rest of the Invictus and like that. I already did the Javelin tour. That's pretty cool. And it's gonna take me too long to fly over there. All right, chat. I think. Oh, hey, Sir Aaron. Do me a favor. I want to test something. I had a bad setting on my spam emotes. I wanted people to. I had some friends who were trying to spam some emotes, and it kicked them. I think I changed it so that they could spam. So can you please spam a few just random emotes? You know, try to go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 emotes, and see. I just want to see what happens. To see if it'll kick you or if it lets you do it. If you could do me that favor. It should let you do it. I think I said it right. If not, I have to look at the settings again. Oh, okay, it works. Great. Perfect. That's perfect. Thank you. Yeah, I had it accidentally set, and somebody tried to spam like some emotes to me, and he got like to 3, and it like kicked him. And I was like, why? I don't want that to happen. I want people to go ahead and spam. But I did fix it. I did it right, and so thank you very much. I appreciate that, man. Whew. I was wondering, cause I know I can do it myself, but you know, since I'm like the head of the channel, I figured it would let me do it. I just wanted to see if someone else who's not a mod or admin, if they could do it. So that proves my point. So I thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. All right. Okay. Let's go over here to the commons, take a chill. And I don't really want to stop the stream though, but like I've done all this stuff, and you know, I kind of want to just go and relax now. But I mean, this is pretty relaxed. Oh, can I sit in this chair? I don't know if I ever tried this. I can sit in that. Oh, maybe I can't. Oh yeah, I can. Well, what do you know? Check him out. Oh, shoot. Now I can do that second, third person. All right. That's cool. Can I use one of these? Probably not. Oh, this cursor. Hey, man. Good night, Sir Aaron. Thank you very much for dropping by. I appreciate it. I'm probably gonna cut it in a few minutes anyway. So I appreciate you being here. Appreciate you hanging out with me for a little bit. And hope you had a good time. Hope you have a good rest of your weekend. And yeah, take care, man. Thank you. Javelin tour at Bajini Point. See, it's like way on the other side. I'm not even gonna try it. All right, so that's it. I think I'm gonna cut it here. I'm gonna go catch a little bit of TV and then head to bed. So anyway, thank you very much, all of you, for being here. Can I exit? Oh, well, will this crash if I exit to menu? Let's see. Last time I did this, it crashed the game. And it looks like it might do the same thing. Oh, no, wait a minute. It's still active. Will it leave gracefully or will it crash? Every time I just try to go out to main menu, it crashes. Up. Nope. Looks like it did it proper this game. Oh, it takes so long. Maybe not. Maybe it's just taking a sweet time, or maybe it's trying to crash. Another screen change. Ah, look at that. It worked. Came out of the game gracefully for once. All right. Okay. So we're going to quit game. Ah, all right. All right, so that was cool. Is there any Star Citizen content we can watch? Here, let me... see if there's something... Oh, it's hot up here. I should really start turning on my air conditioner. Board Gamer did that. That's the Quantum. Tony Zerovic. That was interesting as all hell. Might watch that again. Apologist. Starlifter. Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably just cut it. Yeah, let's get out of here. All right. Take care, everybody. I want to thank you very much for being here. We'll leave it on the Drake screen there. Thank you. Oh, well, I actually have a chatting screen. All right. I sped this up, too. I used the slow one before, so now I'm using the faster one. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong camera. I need a cue light. All right, so thank you very much, chat. I appreciate you being here. This was fun. It was chill. Not really long. I should be back on Wednesday night. I might even stream it again on Thursday because my Bible study group has ended for the season, and we'll take it up again in the fall. So my Thursday nights are free. So maybe I'll add another. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to do the take away my schedule and just say Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, but not an actual time. That way it kind of leaves me free to just kind of come and go. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that. Tomorrow I'm going to work on my schedule and just say not a specific time, just Saturday. And that way I can stream at any point on Saturday. But I want to try to be consistent, you know, so people know. But like one of my friends from earlier, he couldn't join because it's like 1:30 and it was like 1:15 in the morning for him. He just like popped in and I had just started. So so I might try to stream earlier in the days, like especially on Saturdays, so that guys over in the UK and whatnot can pop in and say hi. Then it might be too early for people here in the US, you know, so I don't know. I'll mix it up. I'll just mix it up. So I'm not going to have any specific time anymore. I think I'm going to take that out and just say Wednesday and Saturday, and then possibly Thursday, or maybe just say, hey, I'll just pop up whenever. There's no reason for that I can't really stream on Sundays either. So we'll see. I'm still growing. I'm still learning. I'm still figuring things out, how I want to do things. I have Monday off, but I'm going to help somebody move some furniture, so I don't know when I'm going to be around. So maybe I'll sneak one in the afternoon. I don't think I'm going to spend the whole day with her or anything like that. But hey, we'll see. Anyway, thank you very much, chat, for being with me tonight. I appreciate your being here. Appreciate your eyeballs. Appreciate your lurks. Appreciate Sir Aaron for helping me test that little thing. And everybody take care. I think I'm going to flip over to oh, can I raid? I've never raided somebody, and I'm gonna raid Crucian because he's doing For the Kids stream, and I want to do that. Do a raid. I've never done one before, so that's why I have to look it up. So I apologize. How do you use raid? Oh, raid / raid Crucian. Okay. All right. So, all right, we're gonna raid Crucian. So go ahead and take a look at what's going on with him. I'll probably go jump into his stream and watch him for the rest of the night, like I was earlier. He's doing a 30-hour stream for the kids for St. Jude charity, and I think he's about maybe 20 hours in. 25 hours. I think he's gonna stop probably in the next 2 or 3 hours, so maybe we'll catch the tail end of it. I don't know what he lost power for a few hours earlier, so he may have to, and when he came back, I don't know if he's gonna extend his time or not, but it's 30 hours, so I don't know, he might be getting tired. But hey, let's raid him anyway. So Crucian Gaming. All right, so everybody, take care, be well, check out Crucian, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Oh, you know what? I did it on the wrong thing. I can't do it here. I have to do it on I have to do it in OBS. Oh, you know what? You know, I have to do it in my own. See, that's why I say I've never done it before. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Raid now. Boom.
No, man, thank you so much for the host, man. Appreciate it. Give me 1 second, man. Thank you so much for the raid, brother.